Welcome back, everyone. Michael here with Offshore Citizen. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about the subject of nominees. If you go to a variety of different websites, you'll see things about nominees, directors, and I'm going to talk about substance and what does this achieve, what does it not achieve, what is some of the nonsense out there that certain people are putting out, and what is it that you should need to know if you want to build a legal international structure. So before we do that, if you haven't already, please smash the subscribe button, nail the notification bell. If you are interested in these subjects of international tax planning, international asset protection, setting up yourself an international structure, doing international banking, etc., please reach out to me. You can book a call, calendly.com/Michael-Rosmer, link in the description below, or you can send a message through our websites, offshorecitizen.net, offshorecapitalist.com. Okay, so this was kind of inspired by talking to somebody recently who had been given advice by some lawyer somewhere that, hey, listen, they were setting up a company abroad, and they needed to have this nominee director in order to make sure there was substance. And this is interesting to me. I've done videos in the past on corporate residency rules, which are very important in in general, when you're building an international structure, corporate residency rules are the basic starting point that you work with, okay? And how management control can be a factor in that. Different countries determine it differently. Some are more strict, some are less strict, etc. And then I've talked about source income rules, permanent establishments. Again, you can go and check out those videos, as well as the idea of substance, what is substance, etc. And I've seen this in a few different cases. Like, look, nominees can be a useful thing, okay? But what are nominees useful for? Nominees are useful for keeping your name off of public records. That's basically what nominees are useful for, okay? Now, trustees, or signers, where there's more substance, they're more involved in the business, they actually have decision making, etc., or somebody who's like a fiduciary, that's a little bit different, right? Because they have some control, and so they may be designed to help ensure that the management control isn't in a particular country. They might be designed to make sure there's some asset protection in place there. Any of these types of things could be useful for you, okay? That's different from a nominee, okay? Likewise, I'll often tell clients, hey, listen, you need to hire somebody abroad so that you have some work happening outside of the country. That is also different than a nominee. A nominee is just somebody who basically just lends their name, okay? And a nominee has zero impact on your taxes, okay? You're not somehow magically protected because you have a nominee in some country who puts their name on a company. In fact, it will probably make it more difficult for banking, right? Banks may want this person to be verified, but then you're not really the person's not really, it's not that they're a real person. They may be a real person, but they're not like involved, and you certainly maybe don't want them connected with your banking. And so you've got these problems that arise out of having nominees. So very often nominees are overrated. Now, there's times where nominees are useful, like I said, but I wanted to impress upon you that nominees do not equal substance, okay? If you want substance, real people need to do real things, okay? That is substance. Having somebody who says, hey, I'm putting my name on as a director and registering my address doesn't cut it, okay? No tax department is actually going to buy that if they're a country that cares about substance and all these sorts of things. Likewise, having a nominee will not give you management and control. Management and control is a measure of fact, okay? Meaning that they're going to look at what is really happening, not what is on paper. Okay, I've talked about form versus substance. It is a matter of substance. You have to pay about what is the substance here, okay? So people have to really be involved. So yeah, all of that to say, be careful when you're kind of designing these structures, figuring out what to do. You want to make sure that what you're doing is actually going to achieve the objectives, because otherwise you're just wasting money, right? You might as well just not waste money. That's, easier. If you would like help with figuring out, okay, hey, listen, in my situation, what do I need to do? Because look, the reality is these rules vary, right? If you're in Bulgaria, they don't have management and control rules for companies. If you're in the US, they don't have management and control rules for countries. If you're in Australia, they not just have management and control rules for companies, they have more than that. Their standards are higher. I'll do a video on Australia at some point in time. Most countries have management and control rules, but not all. Okay, so depending on where you are, that will make a difference. Some places have substance rules. Other places don't have substance rules. Some places categorize source income differently. Others do not. The type of income you have might be different, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? There's lots of different variations here that could come into play. And it's really, really important if you're building an international structure. You can gain a lot, right? You can potentially defer taxes infinitely. You can potentially lower your tax rate a lot. You can potentially, do all kinds of different stuff that could be useful for you. but there's a lot of rules that are in place designed to prevent that, and you need to make sure that you're following them, not just pretending to follow them, but you actually it will hold up. So if you're interested in any of that, please reach out to me. Again, you can book a call, calendly.com/Michael Rosmer, link in the description below, or send a message through our websites, offshorecitizen.net, offshorecapitalist.com. I hope it was helpful. If you have any questions, put them in the comments below. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends. If not, tell me why. I really appreciate the feedback. Subscribe, and I'm going to see you guys on the next video.